The Pin Bhaba trek is a crossover trek from Kinnaur to Spiti valleys, and you saw some of the diverse landscapes we encountered. The trek starts from Kafnu, and Kafnu is a small hamlet about 200 kilometers from Shimla, and it's a small little beautiful place, and I spent about a day there acclimatizing. The Pin Bhaba trek starts from the Kinnaur Valley and then crosses over to the Spiti Valley. For the first 3 days, you are following along the Baba River in the Baba River Valley, and you camp at three places. One is Maling, Kara, and then finally Pushtirang. From the Pushtirang camp, you start ascending to the Pin Bhaba Pass, which is at about 4,900 meters. And here is where the ascent starts. And you go up the slope, and then finally you reach the Pin Bhaba Pass. Then you descend down into the Spiti Valley, specifically the Pin River Valley, and you follow the Pin River along, camping at Baldar. So it's about 45 kilometers, a total ascent of 2,500 meters, a descent of 1,100 meters, and the highest point, as I said, is the Pin Bhaba Pass, and finally you reach the village of. The initial part of the trek was quite easy. There was almost a road, though it was a little bit bouldery, and the Baba River was in full flow, and we were steadily gaining altitude, and I was excited to see some snow finally. And here I thought this is the origin of the river, but I was wrong because the river was all along our trek for the first couple of days. Here you see that we passed through some lush forests and we had to do some stream crossings also, which was a bit scary. We rested several times, sometimes quite often. You see everybody relaxing, chatting, getting their breath back before carrying on to higher altitudes. And the scenery has started becoming breathtaking.
Yeah, yeah. We can smile for it. I was too lazy to take it out. Today my battery is gone. Phone.
So we have the entire set almost now.
Yes.
A drone, a GoPro, a 360, a drone, DSLRs.
A little bit of discussion of our camera equipment, and we're all very excited at this point. And soon we'll have the trekkers coming along. For this trip, we went with Bikat Adventures, and we started with 18 folks, but we ended up with 15. And our trek leader Neeraj had to escort some people down. So clearly, this trek is not for first timers. If they are first timers, they have to be a little physically conditioned. So we carry on, and it's becoming a little rockier now as we reach the higher altitudes, but the views are mesmerizing. Here we have one of our trek guides, PK, keeping a close watch on the folks from a vantage point. And at some places, the path was quite narrow, and there were sharp drop to the valley floor, and you can see the Baba River in full flow down below. And we passed through many meadows. This is one of them as we are nearing camp. And this was a place where was the only place where we had signal. So you see people clambering up the hill, trying to get to a strategic spot so that they can call their family. It was the only chance in the trek. Um, and Here's a little bit of close-up view of the terrain. And this is the meadow that we are heading to. Um, that was a solemn moment. Little bit of excitement with the stream crossing. And as we are gaining altitude, there's a little bit more snow in the rivers. And we had to cross several of them. And sometimes it's a little tricky walking on them or walking on the ice. Uh, it's moraine filled, and you have to be a little bit careful of your footing. But with practice, we became better as we encountered some of the higher passes later on in the trek. So we made the stream crossing. We passed through that frozen river, and we are closer to camp. So feeling quite relieved and happy. There's the camp in the distance in a meadow with a river nearby, and a little view of the campsite. The tents are still being set up, and these are our tents with the river in the background. And the bathroom tents are way at the back there, those two green tents. And then we also have the dining tent where we played many card games in the evening. We had some time to rest and prepare for an exciting day, which is the next day when we'll actually be on the pass. That evening, we got a good briefing from Raj, who was our uh, trek leader. And the next morning, we started very early in the dark, but soon it became morning. And the most challenging part of the trek was on this day. We had to ascend about, I think, 1,200 meters or so in 2.5 kilometers. Quite tired looking back at
Oh,
what we have
yeah,
achieved way
became
back
rude.
in the background. We are getting higher and higher. And that's again PK watching over the flock. I think we are just about at the pass now. A few more little hurdles to cross.
I smile for the camera.
Photographs must be taken.
एंगल बता देना हाँ कौन सा like anything to change
Memories must be preserved.
rating
We are almost at the pass now. and I am quite tired. Last bit of effort. We are at the pass finally. Here's our first view of the Spiti Valley, and then we take a look around. It's scenery I haven't experienced from close up before. And that is the Pin River on the other side. So now we have to follow the Pin River all along.
बस हम जल्दी पहुंचे थे मगर यहाँ तक पहुंचने में काफी टाइम लगा कम से कम 1 घंटा वेस्ट हो चुका है हमारा इस पैच पे 11 बजे चलो चलो
Arguably, descending is tougher than ascending, especially when you have terrain like this with a lot of loose stones, and the underfooting is a little treacherous at places and quite steep. And here's our first view of the splendor of Spiti Valley. So we continue along the Pin River, which is getting broader and broader. Lot of wind. And the walk along the river, though flat, was quite challenging. So we had to be a little careful. Here's a grand view of the Pin River Valley. You can see the source way back there. And we are now gaining a little bit of altitude again. Again, a rest break.
maximum height किससे पकड़ना है अच्छा
And finally, we reach the camp.
जय हो आजा भाई कहाँ रह गया आगे हो गए ना पूरे कोई बचा है से हर हर महादेव खड़े रहो एक फोटो लेंगे
The views around the camp was fantastic. Quintessential Spiti. The next day is a final day, and we have to head to Moot village. And this was not a very challenging day, just some stream crossings, but enjoyable nevertheless.
हमारे भाई पीछे आ जाओ दोनों के पीछे आ जाओ
And we've almost reached the Moot village, and you can see the river being very broad here.
एक सिंगल लाइन में चलेंगे ठीक है ब्रिज भाई आजा ब्रिज थोड़ा सा हिलेगा तो किसी को पैनिक नहीं करना है सर डरना नहीं है सबसे पहले अपने घबराना नहीं है ओके सबसे पहले आपने घबराना नहीं है, वीडियो बन रही है आगे।
तो ये लेके जाओ ना।
वो मैं साथ जाऊंगा तुम्हारे।
अरे तो आप जा रहे हो उसके बाद का बनाओ।
नहीं नहीं, साथ चलेंगे सभी।
You make from the back.
इंजीनियर है ना वहाँ पे, उसका है।
चलो आ जाओ एक लाइन में, ठीक है? ओके, डर तो नहीं लगेगा?
नहीं नहीं नहीं।
एक लाइन में सारे साथ, ठीक है? कोई ज़्यादा घुमाएगा नहीं, कोई इसको घुमाएगा नहीं, ठीक है? आ जाओ धीरे धीरे ना, एक एक करके पीछे पीछे चलते रहो सारे। घुमाना नहीं है इसको, आगे आओ, गुड गुड। अरे आओ, गुड। आओ, इसको जाओ ना।
And this was the final moment of our trek. Though, while returning to Manali, I did have a chance to go to Chandratal Lake, which was beautiful and has to be explored in the future. Thank you, everyone.